Okay, so another forecasting method that we're going to look at is the associative forecasting method. Here we are trying to predict unit sales, but it seems as if advertising expense is related to unit sales. So we are going to use our advertising expense to predict the unit sales. That's what we've got here on the screen. So again, almost the same set of data. I'm going to change this because this is month. I have date, I have month, period. It's in sequential order from top to bottom. I've got 59 or 60 periods. I think it's 59. Advertising spends, millions of dollars. Unit sales, millions of dollars. In millions. And I've kind of rounded it up. So it does have decimal points, but Excel is displaying it rounded up. So the associative forecasting method is similar to linear trend, except time is not the x-axis, advertising spend is the x-axis. We can use data analysis toolpack. If you don't have data analysis toolpack, you need to click on file. That brings up some options in the back of the Excel application in the back end. Go and click on more. When you click on more, an option shows up. You can click on feedback or options. So select options and it brings up a little wizard window. Go scroll down on the left until you get to add-ins. We want to add in something called the data analysis toolpack, and it exists under add-in. So when you click on add-in, it takes you to another page, and at the bottom of the page there is a manage Excel add-in cell, and you click on go. It brings up another window, and in here you select the data analysis toolpack, click OK. When you go back and click on data, you should have data analysis here. If you are using Apple Computer, you might want to go to tools add-in. If things have stayed the same, that's where you're going to find the option. So click on data analysis, and then we're going to run a regression. When you click on data analysis, it gives you a lot of wizards that can do wonderful things in Excel. If you scroll down, you will come to one called regression. Click OK. The regression wizard shows up. As you can see at the top, it says input, and you put the input wide range, select all of your data, including the header. I've got some data in mind, so I'm just going to delete it. Go to unit sales, because those are my Y variables, and select everything. You can drag your mouse all the way to the bottom. Done. Delete. Go to the x-axis. Input x range starts from advertising, the label, all the way down to the bottom of the data set. Now I'm going to click labels because my data has labels, and when it prints the regression results out, it's going to give me something that is properly labeled to let me know which is X and which is Y. So my output data, I want to output it to the same sheet, even though I have the option to put it on some other sheet. I hate navigating between sheets when I want to do calculations in Excel. So I'm going to keep everything on the same sheet. My output range, I'm just going to select any cell a little bit off to the side. Click OK. And what you know, these are my regression results. Now, Intercept is my alpha. And the advertising here, the coefficient of advertising is my slope. Now, I do this because anytime I want to run a regression, I also want to check for the fitness of the model, if it's fit for use. And some of the data that shows up here gives me that information, right? But this is not a statistics class. So instead of doing this, I could have just used Excel's intercept parameter or slope parameter. Before I do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all the data at the top here and delete everything because I don't need it. Now by deleting it, it puts the slope here where I can use it. I could also do the same thing by just doing equals intercept and using Excel's intercept parameter. It wants to know what my Y values are. You select all of your Y values and without the header, comma. Then the next are all of your X values, which is advertising without the header, be consistent. And you really don't need the header here. It doesn't print anything out. Press enter and you have the intercept. What do you know is exactly the same as the one we got from the regression. I'm just going to label that intercept. And slope down here, same thing. Excel has a slope function, open, known y's, comma, and x's, done. Exactly the same. So a bunch of methods could have made this work. I just like to run the regression for the additional information. So now that I've got my model, right? If I were to write this out, I will be saying something like, I'm not going to do that. But if I was to write this out, I will be saying something like my forecast, F, draw with touch, my forecast F is equal to 647 plus 48 multiplied by future advertising spend. See what's happening? Now, if I know what my advertising spend is, this just converts into a formula, right? That's my intercept, my slope, done. So let's do this right. First off, let's go pretend as if we know what the advertising expense is for the next period. So I'm going to make up a period 9, a period 10, period 11. I'm the manager, so I know these things, right? Sorry, months. I know this thing. I know what the advertising expense is going to be. Nope. 60, 61, 62. I know, I'm going to make up a number. We're going to call this $311. So I'm going to spend a lot in that month. In the following month, I'm going to spend $219. And after that, I'm going to spend even less because, you know what? That's all I've got. So now that we've got the potential advertising expense, I can forecast the revenue. So I'm going to go up here, do some things here. I'm going to call this forecast, right? In that cell, I'm going to forecast revenue. Now, let's say it is equal to my intercept. Where is my intercept? Let's use the one from the regression. I'm going to make that F4 so that when I copy the formulas down, that address stays exactly where it is. The slope of advertising spend is right here. I'm going to do F4, make that an absolute address multiplied by whatever the advertising expense is in that month. So there it is. I can forecast. This is not in dollars, by the way. So I'm going to go back and make this general. It's a number. And take away the zeros. There you go. So now I forecasted that my sales, if I spend $311 on advertising, my sales will be $798. If I spend $219, it'll be this, and so on and so forth. Now that I have this relationship, I'm going to go back and pretend as if I didn't use this values here to come up with the slope and the intercept. So I'm just going to create a forecast for everything so that I can calculate errors and figure out how well this model has done in predicting the expenses, how well it works. I don't expect it to work well, but so there we go. It's going to be equal to intercept F4 plus open bracket slope times advertising expense, close the bracket, press enter. We have that, and I forgot to make K4 a permanent address. I'm going to do that. Press enter and then double click. Again, these are not dollars, they are numbers. And there we go. These are our predicted sales. This is what actually happened, and this is predicted sales. Now we can take this and calculate MAD, MSE, and MAPE and be done. Okay. Next, we will look at seasonal relatives.